What's up, Heartway? It's Clifford, and I want to take this time to say happy birthday, Heartway. It has been an amazing 6 years here at Heartway, seeing all the lives change, seeing everything that God has done and is continually to do in the lives of all our community here at Heartway and abroad. We want to take this time to say we have an amazing message, and God is just moving through each of us to be able to continue to impact our world and our community. Thank you for all you do and all that you have given over the time in the life of Heartway, and we look forward to many more years. We love you. Stay tuned. It's an amazing service.
Hello, hello, everyone. Happy birthday! Right? Because we are all a part of Heartway, so it's all of our birthdays. And I'm one of those people who loves birthdays. I don't believe in it's another day. It's no big deal. No, it's a huge deal. God brought you into this earth that day. God planted the seed of creating and developing Heartway. So this is a miracle. This is a blessing, and we have to honor it by getting excited, really thinking and reflecting back to, wow, 6 years, how far we have come. And before service, Danny's dad asked me, how long have I been with Heartway? And as I thought about it, it's been 5 years now. Right. And he was surprised. He's like, no. He's like, I think it's been like 2, 3. Maybe 2, 3 is how long I've been serving. But that doesn't mean my journey didn't begin beforehand. So I want you to think back now and really reflect. Take a moment to think when your journey began. And just because it wasn't linear, just because it wasn't necessarily consistent, maybe you had your ups, your downs, but you came back, you're here, you're connected. And that's really what we want to do here at Heartway. We genuinely could not do what we do without all of you. And I want you to take this moment to not only reflect on the past, on where you've come from, but think of this also as a new beginning. This is a new opportunity that you are receiving. So if today you want to honor as your first birthday with us, or if this is your 6th or whichever birthday it is, honor this as your new beginning. To bring yourself back to your faith with God, your connection with love, and your wanting to serve. Because once you fill your cup up, once you really fill yourself up with all of that love, then that's how you can give it to other people. Remember, my friends, if the cup is not full, what are you feeding? You're only draining. This is the community where we fill each other up every Sunday. We're always filling each other up so that when we go out there on Monday, we're ready to give it all out. Amen, my friends? So today for our centering prayer, I'm going to start by leading us only for a short, brief moment of reflection. And I'll guide you into this. And I want to say it because I don't want you to spend too much time on the past. Take a moment to reflect, recognize where you've come from, and then this meditation, centering prayer, will be about our new beginning, our new start, our new awareness and openness and love. Does that sound good, my friends? Yes? So we're going to find ourselves in a nice, comfortable, seated position. And I want you to allow your palms to face up to receive. Gently allow the eyes to close. And let's begin with some deep breaths. Slowly inhaling nice and big, filling up the belly, allowing the breath to rise. And slowly exhaling, releasing all of the air. Again, we slowly inhale, really fill up the belly nice and big. Then gently exhale, release all of the air. Let's continue this breathing, slowing it all down, allowing the body to relax, allowing yourself to feel safe. Take a moment now to analyze where you've come from. Allow the emotions of the past to come up for just a moment. Bring awareness to all that you've been through, all that you've experienced. Without labeling good or bad, we only bring awareness to all that has happened, to all that we've experienced. We recognize all that we've done and all that we've gone through to bring us here to this very moment. I want you to take a moment to honor all that you experienced, honor all that has happened to you, honor all that you've done, and honor that the entire time God was with you, slowly leading and guiding you to this very moment. We take a deep breath, really inhale, fill the belly up, allow the breath to rise. And then vocally exhale. Again, inhale nice and big. Fill yourself up. Fill all those emotions up. Really fill the belly up. And then vocally, you are free of it all, my friends. You no longer have to hold on to or attach. With your awareness, you can observe. We've observed what we've experienced, and now we bring ourselves to the present moment, connecting with our breath. We connect with the God within each and every one of us. We allow ourselves to surrender just a little bit more, allowing the shoulders to come down. Unclench the jaw. Allow the mind to drift away now. Bring yourself right here. Honor this very moment that you're experiencing, this very breath that you are blessed with. Honor how God placed you right here, right now, on purpose, without any mistake. You are never alone. You are always loved and guided. Remind yourself that every day you have an opportunity to let go, to surrender that which does not serve you, to release negative thoughts, to release anxious emotions, and to allow yourself to feel the peace, to feel the comfort that God wants to give to you. Take a deep breath now as you acknowledge this. Fill yourself up with air, imagining this as all of God's love filling you up. And as you exhale, you surrender just a little bit more. You fall into God's embrace. You honor yourself a little bit more by getting a little more still, by feeling the love that you have within yourself. As you open yourself up, I want you to take a moment to really surrender a little bit more. And as you surrender, allow God to speak to you in this very moment. Allow whatever He has to say to you to fall deep within your heart, to sink deep within you, without a doubt in your mind. Know that God is right here with you now. And no matter where you go on your journey, no matter what you do, He's always with you. Will never leave you. Will never forsaken you. You are now and forever will be His child. I want you to take another deep breath. This time very slow. Inhale. Hold your breath for 3, 2. Vocally. Put a smile on your face. Bring both hands to your heart. Feel your heart beating. You are alive. You are breathing. There is no mistakes when it comes to you. You are loved and you are whole. When you're ready, you gently bring your awareness back, blinking your eyes open. My friends, may love and peace always be with you. Amen, and so much love.
Happy birthday, Heartway. 6 years, man. Oh, every time that we celebrate our birthday, our anniversary, because this is a yearly occurrence that we have this good celebratory time, I can't help but get all up in my feelings because of just how beautiful of an experience and a journey this has been. And what has made it so beautiful for me is you. Really, I mean that. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, I'm rich. I am rich in relationships. And when I say that, I mean that 100%. I am rich. Can you keep playing behind me, bro? Because I like that. I like the feeling we were getting with this. Thank you, my brother. Give it up for Miko one time. Look at this man with the fresh little chain on. Trying to act all humble. You ain't humble. That's my guy, man. And his brother Ed on the drums. Put your hand up, Ed. My philosophical, theological brother from another. Love you, man. I'm rich in relationships because of this place. The people that I've been able to meet, the conversations that I'm able to have. And I'm always extremely grateful that other human beings let me in. What an honor. We build up these walls because we've been through so much. And for us to find the courage to bring those walls down and let somebody in, I don't take it for granted. It's the greatest privilege of my life. I love you. I love who I get to do this with. Shout out to all of the leaders and volunteers at Heartway. I can't even really, we would be here the whole morning, the whole day, if I go one by one naming everybody. But Ryan, I love you, bro. We're in the gym every day talking about God, life, philosophy, other women too sometimes, that gets in there, it is what it is. But man, and then he comes up and blesses our family, Gabby, who's what a queen, and her man Talon, incredible, what you bring to this community. Rafa, everybody, man. Mario, my God, Mario basically runs Heartway. We got Amanda, everybody. There's just so many people. And my heart is filled with gratitude that I get to do this with you. And, the reality of it is, I honestly feel like I cannot take much credit for what Heartway is and what Heartway has become. Because I never imagined that Heartway would be what it now is. Because I never imagined that I would evolve in the manner that I have. And as I have evolved, this community has evolved with me. And the message has also evolved as well. There have always been hints and traces of what I now speak. in my earlier days of speaking and communicating here at Heartway, but the message now comes out with a lot more clarity because I see things now that I wasn't able to see before. I understand things now that I wasn't able to understand before. And in the same way that life is constantly in process, so am I. So are you. So is this community. This place began as a place where people come to find answers. And now it's a place where people come to learn that you don't really need answers. I know that's a shocker for some of us, but it's true. I'm not here to be the answer man. I'm here to help you, walk alongside of you, to help you create your own philosophy of life, to help you develop your own way of seeing and thinking about life and reality. Heartway began as a place of worship for Christians, and it has expanded into a place of meditation and centering for people of all spiritual faiths and traditions and backgrounds. Heartway, began as strictly a Bible study, and now it has evolved into a place where we study life and existence. Life is the Bible, in my estimation. And it's interesting because a lot of people have misconceptions about what church is. And so sometimes I try and stay away from the traditional language of church and Christianity because it comes with so much baggage. It comes with so much baggage. You say church, and to someone that means one thing, to another person that means something completely and totally different. So is Heartway a church? Yes and no. Is Heartway Christian? Yes and no. It depends. Do we get to define what that means? What do you mean by that when you say it? I was talking with my friend, my barber, and he's like, yeah, I've been going to this church, and honestly, man, like there's just a lot of inconsistencies that I see between the message that's being shared and the life that's being lived. That inconsistency has driven many people away from any sort of spiritual community. And what I love about Heartway is that it's really not hard to live up to the message here, because the message is be yourself. Accept yourself. That's it. And you don't have to, you can't mess that up. You really can't. Be yourself. Accept yourself. The message is love. My religion is love. That is what I teach. And what unites us is our common desire to become the most loving version of ourselves, to be like God, to experience the God who is love. That is it. From beginning to end, everything that we teach, everything that I say, everything that we do is about this love. There's this one mystic by the name of Rumi who said this wonderful quote. He said, I once had 1,000 desires, but in my one desire for you, all else melted away. It's that one desire to know God, to experience God, to become God, to see as God sees, that binds us together. Love, 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 love. From the very beginning of just religion, way before just our current cultural moment, it's been very easy for ego, for vanity, for the desire for success, for the necessity to give off a certain image, to corrupt the kind of spiritual work that places like this are meant to do. Ego gets in the way so often. Here we try and keep vanity off of the stage. Here we try and keep the main thing. And that is relationship. Being vulnerable. Being honest with one another. About our lives, about how we feel, about what we're doing. How could it be that so often church has become the place where people feel they have to hide? It was literally supposed to be the complete opposite. But for a lot of us, we think places like this are places where we need to hide because we may get judged. Oh my gosh. That's not what this is about here at Heartway. That's not what this is about. Whoever you are, wherever you're from, whatever you've done, and whatever you will do, cannot stop us from loving you. That's it. You come as you are. We accept you as you are. And hopefully, as you can experience that kind of love and acceptance from another, you can begin to give that gift right back to yourself. If you don't have a problem with you, you don't have a problem. That's ultimately what it comes down to. If you don't have a problem with you, you don't have a problem. Because now what? Someone else has a problem with you? You may actually agree with them, yeah. Actually, I can see how what you're saying may have some truth to it. It's such a better way to live like that, to just be open-minded. But you have to accept yourself first. If you accept yourself completely and totally, even your flaws, somebody can point out your flaws and you'll be like, yeah, that's obvious. It's obvious. I was thinking the other day, I'm like, well, you know, one of the flaws of Danny, right? It's like, I have a lazy bone in my body. I could be lazy. I could be a lazy guy. Lazy guy, man, sometimes. What? Hey, you better watch yourself, Cliff. You better watch yourself, bro. You know, I could have a little lazy bone in my body. And, you know, the other day I was thinking, I was like, man, you know, the world could use a little more laziness. Really? This is real talk. People can look at me and say, man, this guy, I don't know if people actually say that, but, you know, the things that I judge myself for sometimes, you know, it's like, I'm like, man, the world could use a little more laziness. We're always just running around, going crazy, doing this, doing that, trying to impress people. Chill out a little bit. You don't gotta, you just be lazy. Relax. It's good for your soul. Whatever is your weakness is also your strength. And whatever is your strength is also a weakness too. So there's nothing to beat yourself up about. There's nothing to feel guilty about. We're all human beings trying to figure out how to exist. We spawned onto this planet. And it seems like it's crazy here. A lot of craziness going on. But we have one another. We have one another. That's why it's so powerful when you can actually share your weaknesses and vulnerabilities with other people. Because it's a point of commonality now that you have. That's what binds us together. We've all suffered. We've all suffered. We've all been through stuff. We've all experienced heartache and pain. And when we can share that with other people, and they can share with us similar experiences, and they can talk to us about how they've navigated through different things in their life, that can be such a source of encouragement and comfort and peace. That is what spiritual community is really all about. It's not just about coming here and getting a bunch of information in our head. Spirituality is a way of life. And the way of life that we are adopting is the way of love. Love always wins. Love never fails. You can't go wrong with love. But only if you love because you want to. Only if you don't you dare do it if you don't. If you want to be petty, you better be petty. If you want to be mean, you better be mean. No fakeness. You be true to yourself. Be true to yourself at all costs. But if you start paying attention to how you live your life, the thoughts that you think, the words that you say, the behaviors that you engage in, the way that you interact with the world, if you start just becoming aware of how you are and who you are, and you begin to ask yourself, how can I actually experience some sort of peace? Okay, that self-awareness journey will take you to where you want to be. It will take you to peace. But you got to be gentle with yourself. And you got to be true to who you are. That's all it is. Self-awareness is what leads to self-transformation. I don't love somebody because of what they're going to do for me in return. I don't love somebody because of how they're going to see me now that I'm acting like this. Oh my God, what a mess. Because people may not acknowledge your kindness. People may not acknowledge you turning the other cheek. People may not acknowledge you being so generous. So if you do it for that, and then you don't get what you wanted in return, you're just going to throw out the whole thing because it's not real. It's not genuine to you. But eventually what you come to realize is that love brings peace. Love brings wholeness. Love brings fulfillment. God is love. So when you find love, you have found everything. You have found everything. And some of you may say, well, it's hard for me to love other people. Okay, then don't love other people. Just start with loving you. And that means loving you even when you're mistreating people. Loving you even when you snapped at this person. Loving you. That's it. So I had someone come up to me last week after service, and they said, Danny, I haven't been into a church in 21 years, this guy said. And he said, the last time that I heard a minister speak was at my father's funeral like several years ago. And I have never stepped foot in a church. I got burned by church. He said, but I would have been back in church years ago if I would have found a place like this. And I can't tell you how many countless stories like that I have heard of people who have been reinvigorated in their faith and in their love and in their desire for God and truth and spirituality as a result of walking through these doors, hearing this message, being a part of what it is that we're doing. I want you now to hear the story of one very special person who's a part of our community. Her name is Millie. Let's watch her story together.
Hello, my name is Millie. Been coming to Heartway since 2019. Don't remember the month. I wish I did, but I took an invitation from my friend Jennifer, who had invited me a couple of times. And I finally said, yeah, you know what? This Sunday I can go. And I was blown away because I had not been in a church in over a decade. I had promised myself I never again wanted to go to another church. But because I know my friend Jennifer and she knows me, and she said, you're going to like this one, I took her word. And I was not disappointed. I was beyond in love again with, let's say, spiritual journey. Listening to my Zen master, Danny, like I like to call him, speak these words of wisdom. It brought me back to a song that I used to hear in the Spanish Pentecostal church, and it was Ríos de Agua Viva. Like it was like words of a live river. I don't know if that makes any sense, but something like that. And I was hooked immediately to want more. I couldn't get enough. And then I had a thought of, how am I going to get my boyfriend to come with me? Because him and I were on the same page. Church trauma, never again. So how I had to introduce Heartway to him was we were on a road trip back from Tampa. And I was like, okay, this is when I'm going to have him listen to the podcast. And that's how I did it. I said, oh, babe, you know what? I just want you to listen to this guy that I heard the other day. I didn't even tell him that I came to visit Heartway. But anyhow, it was like magic. The moment that I turned this podcast on, he looked at me. I'm driving, and he's like, whoa, who is that? I was like, okay, just keep listening. And lo and behold, he loved the message, and he was like, okay, where and when do we go? I want to do it. Yeah. And needless to say, it was, if not the same, even a better experience for him, because if I had not been in church in over 10 years, he hadn't been to church since he was like a teenager, and Honey was 70. But anyhow, so now fast forward to 2020. We're still going to church. We're going every Sunday, and pandemic hits March 2020, and we're no longer able to gather at Heartway, but he was still happy to be able to watch Heartway from home. And he had been self-quarantining in his place, and I was self-quarantining in mine, seeing how he was doing so much travel. All of that to say that on March 30th of 2020, he suffered a heart attack and I lost him. And as sad and as difficult as that was, Heartway has really helped me throughout the whole experience. The friends that I have made here, the messages, continue to give me hope. And I realized today, 2021, that all that time, all those years of my relationship with Honey was like preparing me for his last day, his transition, and the fact that that because of this whole journey of Heartway, I have now my ex-husband being a part of this, and another person that had church trauma, and also a relationship that has been restored because of my learning and the teachings at this incredible place, this home for our heart called Heartway. And so much healing has taken place. This relationship has been restored, and lots of healing is taking place, not just with Phil and I, my ex-husband, but with our kids. A lot of conversations that went unsaid are now taking place, have taken place, and will continue to take place. And I cannot say enough of how this community has impacted my life, because as I lost my beautiful friend, Hipólito, that was in my life for those 12 years, I gained this community. I gained this relationship back with my ex-husband, which has trickled into an incredible relationship with our kids. There's so much more I could say. I could go on for days, but to feel connected, to feel such alignment, such healing, such growth, all of those things are priceless. If you're looking for a place to find all of that, this is it. It is Heartway. It is here with us, with Danny, and the rest of the wonderful people that are part of all of this. We're waiting for you to come and have your own story, your impact, your life transformed. And I love you. That's all I'm going to say.
Isn't that awesome? And I'm sure each and every one of you have a similar story. The two pillars that this community stands on are self-discovery and social transformation. Our vision is to help people discover themselves in God and transform the world through love. And those two things go together. You can change all the policies you want in this country, but if the human heart is clinging to its biases and its prejudices, nothing will ultimately change. Change begins at this level, and it makes way for change on other levels. That's why the work that we're doing is so important. Self-discovery, again, is just about self-awareness. You have to learn things yourself, and you have to learn the hard way. Your way of living life has to get you to a point where you're so frustrated, it's not working, there's so much misery, there's so much heartache, there's so much suffering, there's so much pain that you say, I need to change directions. People can tell you anything they want about God and peace and a better life, but until you get tired of yours, you won't change directions. You won't look somewhere else. That's why we say it's okay for you to fail and stumble and mess up. There's no other way to God. You can't get to God any other way but through your failure, through your messing up, through your own actual experience of life. I believe that humanity has an identity crisis. And that is where all of our issues stem from. We identify with our nationality, with the color of our skin, with our gender, with our religion, with our political affiliations. We create identities on which we base our life around these things that are so fickle. And so when someone threatens one of our points of identity, if you're talking bad about my political ideology, if you say one thing about my religion, no, out of our intense passion for the things that we believe in, we stand up and we defend and we fight. But you understand, just that fighting is only going to create more fighting. We're divided because we have not understood who we really are. We have identified with all of the wrong things. So what would it look like if your identity solely became love? Solely love, unconditional love towards God and all life and all people and even yourself. Love is how you make contact with God. Love allows you to see beyond the surface of people's lesser identities, to see the core and the essence of who they are. When your soul can see their soul, when your heart can see their heart, that's when you've really touched upon love. That is when something beautiful can happen. If I'm just trying to convince you that I'm right and you're trying to convince me that you're right, what's going to happen from that? But if I don't have an agenda when I'm with you, I just want to get to know you. I want to hear what you have to say. You know what's crazy? You know what I realized? People, if you don't really feel the need to communicate what you think, people actually get curious. And they ask you, what do you think about this? Oh, I'm glad you asked. And you just share it and people leave it or take it. They agree with you or don't agree with you. Doesn't matter. But we try and force our ideology. We try and force our opinions onto other people because we have an agenda. And it's to be right. Love has no agenda. Love just wants to be and be with. We are not separate from one another. Every single one of us make up one really large human family. We're all children of God. All of us. And if we could see one another that way, it would revolutionize our world. But it starts in here. It starts with every individual. So what does this love actually look like in action? Well, several years ago, I created something called a rule of life. And these are just basically the values around which we gather at Heartway. And I want to read them to you. First one is walking fully in the path of Jesus without denying the legitimacy of other paths that God may provide humanity. Number 2, listening to God's Spirit through daily prayer and meditation, the study of ancient scriptures, and the cultivation of mindfulness. Number 3, seeing Christ in everyone and in everything with no exceptions, including the earth and its ecosystems, the Christian and non-Christian, the human and non-human. Celebrating all human beings as image bearers and children of God, regardless of race and gender and sexual orientation and age, physical or mental ability, nationality or economic class. Those distinctions matter, by the way. They're crucial. Those distinctions matter. But there's an underlying unity that holds us all together. Number 5, seeking peace and justice for the outcast and oppressed and standing in solidarity with the marginalized and afflicted. Prioritizing love over doctrine and praxis over theory. Living a non-judgmental lifestyle rooted in patience, acceptance, gratitude, and love. Embracing love and suffering as our greatest spiritual teachers. Claiming the sacredness of both our minds and our hearts, recognizing that science and spirituality, doubt and faith serve the pursuit of truth. Caring for our bodies, taking time to enjoy the benefits of rest, reflection, and recreation in addition to work. Placing our faith and hope in God who brings good out of evil, life out of death, and light out of darkness. That's it. That's it. That's what we're about. You know what happens when people come together around values like this? Transformation happens, service happens, compassion happens, healing happens. Heartway is a place of healing. Something that all of us have in common is trauma. Every single human being has been through some sort of trauma. Whether it's religious trauma, we got a lot of people here because that happens to be my story. A lot of people here who have just been burned by church and religion and God and Christianity. Whether it's religious trauma, relational trauma, childhood trauma, all of us have experienced trauma. We enter into this world as children as blank slates. But then over time, our environments, our context, our conditions begin to shape us, and we start to develop reactions to the world that are rooted in fear. Heartway is a place where you come to rewire your reactions to the world to be congruent with love so that you can be at peace within yourself. Life tends to harden the heart. God desires to soften it. That softening of the heart is perceived by many in the world as weakness. But it is the ultimate strength. It is the ultimate power to remain vulnerable in the midst of the harsh realities of life. To remain open even though life gives you reason after reason to shut down. That is power. That is strength. That is the power of love, the strength of love. And so, Heartway is a place where every single human being is welcomed and accepted and treated equally. Here, when you see God in everybody, when you see Christ in everybody, you don't rank people anymore on the basis of status or wealth. You know, we got people who got a lot of money. We have people who have no money. And everybody is just as valuable in this house as everybody else. Nobody gets any special treatment. Oh, that's crazy to think about that. Nobody gets any special treatment because they have more money or they have some sort of prestigious title behind their name. Everybody's equal here. Everybody's equal here. And Heartway is a place where you learn how to rewrite your story. we have been conditioned by life to think about things in a certain way. At Heartway, we try and unlearn all of the baggage that we've learned over the years so that we can rewrite our story. Life is basically a blank canvas, and our thoughts, our words are like paintbrush that God has given to us. So what is the story that you're telling about your life? To learn how to interpret life through a lens of faith and love. That's what it's all about, to be able to tell a beautiful story. That's it. We're meaning-making creatures. We need meaning to live. You can create that meaning. You can create what that tragedy, what that suffering means to you. And the only reason why it means something bad right now is because you believe that your story is true. That's it. But it's only true because you believe it. If you don't believe it, it's not true. So it's like people who believe in God. Well, the person who believes in God, God is true. The person who doesn't believe in God, for that person, God is not true. There is no God for that person. And they have a godless life. There is no awareness of God in that person. You can believe something today and you don't believe it tomorrow. And what you at one point thought was ultimate truth, absolute truth, the next day is nothing. It was like, yeah, I remember when I used to believe that. It's nothing. Thoughts are malleable. You can play with all of this stuff. And the ego is always going to try and present something to you as truth. But if it's rooted in fear, it's not true. You understand? So we're unlearning, rewriting our story, learning how to live in acceptance. That's really all it is. If you have a fundamental trust in your life that God is the one who is ordaining and determining all things, now it's just a matter of you not arguing with what God is doing, lining up with what God is doing, and telling a beautiful story. That's all it is. It's already, your life is already perfectly aligned. You just don't see it yet. You don't have the eyes to see it yet. So, listen, our doors are open every Sunday. We talk about all this stuff every week. I don't want to belabor it today because I want to eat some pastelitos and just enjoy your company and have a good time. But know that you are not alone. Know that you are valued. Know that this is a place where you can be yourself and where we're going to come alongside of you and help you become the most loving version of you. So what's next for Heartway? What's next for Heartway is hopefully more of the same. That's it, more of the same. And this is not a cult, by the way. So honestly, one of my favorite things, you know what I love about today? We have people here who don't even come to Heartway anymore, who were a part of Heartway, but who are here celebrating with us today. Some of the closest friends that I have, that I actually hang out with all the time, are people who used to come to Heartway who don't come anymore. The relationships that you build here go far beyond here. That's the whole point. It's like you build these relationships, you meet these people, and those relationships stay with you even way longer than you may stay here. And that's okay. This is a pit stop really for all of us. Nothing is forever. So let's enjoy this place while it's here, because I'll tell you, there have been times where I'm like, I don't know if I have it in me to keep doing this. You know, like a normal human being. Maybe. But like every human being, sometimes you think about quitting, you think about pivoting, you think about doing other things. You wonder, is this actually making a difference? Is this impacting anybody? Absolutely. But hey, sometimes when COVID hit 2020, I'm like, Heartway is on a clock. That's how it felt. It felt like Heartway is on a lifeline. But here we are, here we are. And not just COVID, a divorce. What kind of church survives not a lot of churches survive a divorce, people. Because divorces, they get messy and nasty, and you know what it is? And it's like, I'm so happy that Cliff, during the announcements, not only did you honor my parents, but you also honored Emily's parents too, and Emily too. I mean, now that I'm on my own, I'm like, man, it's gonna be hard to find somebody. Maybe it's not, maybe God's gonna have the perfect person. But it's made me appreciate the partner that I had. All those years, she put in a lot of effort to make this place what it is. Every single one of you, every single one of you. And, all right, now I'm talking too much. Like, I love you. We're about to celebrate. I'm gonna pray for us, and then we're out of here. God, thank you so much for 6 years of Heartway. We're so grateful. We're so grateful, God. Bless us with many more years if it is your will. Give us the strength to keep going. Expand our tribe. Help us to heal, to find wholeness, to find peace within ourselves, to find you, to find love. We're so grateful that we're not alone, that we have each other. And we pray that you would continue to light our path and lead us forward. And you'll get all the glory, God. Amen. All right, everybody. Love you. Happy birthday, Heartway.